All right, grown-ups, it's just our time. I love the babies, but to help you, I gotta speak my mind. This segment's here to help you grow with book reviews, lessons, and things you'll be glad to know. If your little one's restless or looking to play, send them to my other playlist. The read-alouds there will brighten their day. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Behind the Book. I'm Miss Erica, the teacher lady, your fairy godparent when it comes to sharing joyful stories and growing young minds. Now, this week's theme is all about jobs, money, and how to raise children who are financially literate, okay? And of course, we're using picture books to be able to do so. So if you have not done so yet, be sure to check out the read aloud for this book first. But today we're going to be doing a behind the book review on a book that I wrote and illustrated called Money Should Grow on Trees, okay? In this review, I'll be sharing the glows, what I think was done well, the grows, what I think could have been done differently, how to utilize this book as a resource to have more robust conversations with your child, and more, all in this segment of Behind the Book, where we go beyond the pages to get to the heart of the story. Now, I do want to put the caveat that this is my book. I am the creator of this book. I'm super passionate about education in general, and so I will try my best to give as much of an objective point of view as possible. But it will be challenging considering, well, it's my story. Still, I know that there is something that you can gain from watching this segment, so I'm so glad you're here. You ready? Let's grow. Summary in my own words. Money Should Grow on Trees is the story of Milo, who is this enthusiastic fifth grader who loves his debate team and his friends and playing video games. But life slows down for him once he realizes that he is going to have to buy his next video game console. Okay, so after losing it, his parents want to teach him a lesson and he has to start a job at the family business. And that is the summary. It is the story of a child who was given a lot, very privileged and entitled, and now have to work in order to understand what goes into getting the things that he loves and desires. So it's definitely a child-friendly, colorful story that paints the picture of what it means to work hard for the things that you desire. Take-home message in target age group. So I would definitely say that the take-home message is that things don't just happen. Right? I feel like so often with children, they just expect food to be on the table. They expect their needs to be met. They expect teachers to show up for work at school. There's a lot of expectation, which on some level they should. I'm not a person that believes children should know every single aspect about all the things we do as adults to make their life easier. But I do think that there should be a general understanding in terms of things don't just happen, right? The house was dirty yesterday and it's clean today. A magic fairy didn't just fly in here and clean the house. Somebody did that. And so the take-home message for this story is, hey, you have because of our efforts as your parents. Don't take that for granted. The entire idea around the book is to have children understand that things don't just happen. They don't just come to be. There were things intentionally done in order to make that happen. So definitely one take-home message is just getting children to understand that adults work hard for what it is that they have. It's definitely a few lessons about responsibility. But I will also say another take-home message of the story is the beauty of having a family business and being able to work at that family business. And so one part of the story, there is a wall with generations of people who have been part of that store. So his family's maternal line is on this wall as this way to say we've had this grocery store in our family for multiple generations. And because the beauty of passing down a family business is dwindling for a lot of people, I feel like it's also a really great take-home message of being able to pass down a business or pass down something to your children. So many take-home messages. In terms of age group, I would say that children as young as 5 can start to understand some of the concepts. 7 years old, you can have a more robust conversation, and I would gift it to a child even up to 11 or 12. But again, with all my stories, because of the visuals and the words and the humor of it all, it really does work for most ages, okay? And another take-home message I would say is just the process of earning money. So he learns about taxes, he learns about 401ks and saving money. He learns what it means to do physically intensive labor and to even miss out on things that he enjoys to have to work. So he gets a glimpse of so many of our realities as Americans who work hard for the things that we want and need. And just overall, there are so many take-home messages. Who this book is for. This book is for Black boys because Black boys don't get seen in stories half as much as they should, okay? And so to have this Black family that owns this Black business where the mom goes to a Black university and, you know, the grandfather is super Black with his Black Cadillac and just the story is just embedded in Black culture. And as a young Black boy, being able to see this family dynamic is so important. I did not grow up knowing my dad, knowing my grandfather, knowing his father, so on and so forth. And I know that it meant a lot for me to try to discover some of these things, to try to get to know who my family was. There's definitely a missing piece there. And so many people, that is their same experiences. And children books are a way to escape your own reality and also dream, right? So I didn't know my dad, but my daughter knows hers very well, right? And so I feel like this book, as simple as it might be, just seeing a Black family, seeing unity, seeing a level of wealth, seeing a business, super, super important for the people who are represented in the story. And so that would be Black boys, that would be Black families. Definitely check that out. I will also say that this book is great for children who do not have the basic understanding that things don't just happen, okay? That when you come and you throw your stuff in the middle of the floor and it's not there the next day, it is because clearly I'm having feelings around my house because that's all the examples I'm using today. But it is because somebody came and they picked it up. When you need food, it is because somebody went grocery shopping and put that food there. And it's even further than that. Like, yeah, we work to have money to go buy food, but somebody else works to put the food on the shelf. And then somebody else worked in order to be able to farm to put the food on a truck to get it to the shelf, and that list continues. And so we are all so connected, but there is a great deal of effort. And so that child who is entitled, or who isn't entitled and who is appreciative but literally does not understand how our financial system works, this book is for them. America is very unique in the sense that we do not learn financial literacy until it's too late. We are adults trying to understand debt, trying to understand credit cards, trying to understand bank accounts and savings and how to earn money. And that list continues. And that is just way too late. So to really have a child that is financially literate, that understands how money works, even in a general sense, you want to introduce literature around the topic early, okay? This book would also be for them. So it's a funny book. It's a fun book. It's a book that children of all races can enjoy. But overall, I would say those were the ones, if I had to pick them out, that I would go with. Let's keep going. Glows, what I think was done well. This book has so many Easter eggs, hidden gems that you might have not caught right away. There is the gem of his friend, one of his friends being albino, and that's because you very rarely get to see an albino boy in a story. There is the gem of the credit card, One United Bank credit card, okay? And that is because that is the largest Black-owned bank in the United States. There is the hidden gem of True laundry detergent, because that is a Black-owned laundry detergent brand that has been so prevalent and so impactful in the Black community for years at this point. And that list continues. On the credit card, there are numbers that look like random numbers. Those are 4 Black sororities within the United States, the year that those sororities were founded. And so the list just continues in terms of the Easter eggs and the hidden gems that are throughout the story. So that is definitely one of my glows. The other glow would have to be the glossary in the back of the book that further explains things. The glossary both explains phrases like slang phrases. In the book, there's a line that says y'all are loaded, and it explains that y'all are loaded is a slang way to say that you have a lot of money. And so I love that the glossary has both slang definitions as well as actual definitions like 401ks and taxes. Also love that the glossary has an image next to it because it will tell you where in the story that was referenced, which is also super important. I really love, I told y'all this is my book, right? So I was going to have glows. Take them or leave them. Hopefully you take them. I really love the generational impact of the story. The fact that there is a page where the grandfather is talking about how when he started at the grocery store, he felt the same way, like he wasn't making enough money for all the work he was doing. I really love that the parents had the option of employing their child. I know with Addison, she'll go with me to vend books, or she'll go with her dad to vend books. If we have a book event, she'll go and she'll help set up, and she's able to earn something for herself. And I just think that it is very special to have that kind of lens growing up of earning money. And so that is another glow. The illustrations are another glow for me. The background images, everything was just very intentional. And I think that that is probably my biggest glow, is the intentionality that went into this story. Being a newer illustrator, I really feel like it was important for me, for Black children to see this book and to understand that we do not all struggle. We are not all impoverished. We are not all in pain. We are not all financially strapped all the time. So I wanted to really say, look, this is a Black family that has a level of wealth, that is explaining what it means to have money and make money to their children. This is the mom. The mom has her doctorate from Dillard University, another Easter egg, which is a historically Black university. And it was just important to me that Black children got to see money, family wealth, economic stability. There is something really special about having that image in your mind really, really early in life. Here's a detour for you. Growing up was a bit rough for me. I won't go into too much details, but it was hard. And I fell in love with these books called Eloise. And the reason why I fell in love with the books called Eloise, which Eloise looks nothing like me, little white girl, blonde hair, does whatever she wants to do. What I fell in love with was the freedom of her being able to really do whatever she wanted to do. She spoke how she wanted to speak. She went where she wanted to go. She ate what she wanted to eat. She was extremely what we would call privileged or entitled or what have you. But there was something so bossy about me and Eloise being the same age and her just living and what it did, which is one of the reasons why I became a child author and an illustrator, because what Eloise did was plant a seed. And that seed told me that it was possible one day to have a level of freedom where I can choose what it is I want to wear, and I can choose where it is I want to go, and I can choose how it is I want to speak to people or what I want to do in life. And so even though my actual reality was nothing like Eloise, the story helped me to see what was possible. Sometimes you need a book like that so that you understand that you can go somewhere where you're currently not. And so for the children who are picking up this story, I want them to understand maybe you don't have your dad. Oh, but you can make sure your child has one. And maybe your family doesn't currently have a business, but you can start one if you want to, or you don't have to. Maybe you don't understand how money works, but clearly one day that can be explained to you. When I write these books, I make them for children who need them. And in my opinion, so many of us need this reminder that not all Black is bad or poor, that there is a wealth and a beauty in family dynamic, in culture, and in so much more. Grows. My grows, I don't have one. The book did what it came to do. I don't feel like this about all 9 of my books. Some of them have grows. This one just doesn't for me. I genuinely, reading this book was a reminder of how beautiful and intentional the story is. I don't have much of a grow. I feel like the book came, it conquered, and hopefully it joins all of the libraries so that children everywhere can get a chance to experience all of the joy that I see when I read it. So no grows for me. Let's keep going. Discussion points to have with your child. There are so many ways to take the discussion of this book. One of the discussions I would have is around the Black wealth shown in the story. Look up One United Bank. Like, really look it up and look into the history of this huge Black-owned bank. Look up and look into family businesses and Black-owned family businesses and Black-owned grocery stores and even Black-owned farming. Look into the sororities and the fraternities that I had mentioned that are part of the Divine Nine so that children understand if they decide to go to college, what are some options for things that they can join. Look up Dillard University, which is a historically Black university in New Orleans, Louisiana. Like, really look at the hidden gems that are in the story. You'll see pictures of Barack Obama and Jackie Robinson in the back of the book. And so I would just, part of the discussion would be like around the Black history and the Black culture in the story, because there is so much there. You could also have the discussion around financial management. How do you make money right now? Is it that you get money for your birthdays or for Christmas, Chinese New Year or what have you? And then do you just spend it, or how do you decide what you're saving for? So you can definitely have conversations around savings, around money, around working. And I would say that the book by itself is really a good pause and discuss. And so what I mean by that is you can pull any page from the book, you can read it, and you can hold a conversation around that topic, whether it's working because Milo is exhausted, or taxes because he feels like his check is shorter than what it could be or what he feels like it should be, so on and so forth. Overall, I would say that this is an easy book to hold multiple robust conversations with your child. Just pick it up and start discussing. My final thoughts. Thank you so much for learning with me. Money Should Grow on Trees really is a special book in my Teacher Lady book series. It's one that is filled with Black culture, with humor, with financial literacy and information, and so much more. And I really do hope that you decide to add it to your home library so that your family can enjoy it time and time again, and so that your children can start understanding how much work goes into the things that they have. I do feel like that piece is important. And if you're an educator, this book is also a great classroom tool. And there are so many different lessons you can pull out of this story. Okay, you can go government with the taxes. You can go financial literacy in terms of saving and working. That list kind of continues. Thank you for joining me. Be sure to come back on Friday for the Teacher Lady Speaks, where I give you more resources in order to raise children who are financially literate. Until next time, remember to enjoy the moment, or go be a joy in the moment. Bye.